iOS 14 has been kind of revolutionary. It brought widgets to the iPhone for the very first time. We had the option to change what our icons look like, but one of the new features included was also the app library, which I think is the most useless feature of the entire iOS. But isn't it what we, regular users, wanted? Actually, no. Let me explain. Until iOS 14, one of the biggest differences between an Android and iPhone was the home screen. iPhone has all installed apps present on the home screen pages, whether you like it or not, while Android's home screen only has the apps that you decide to put there. The rest of the apps are located in the app drawer. This all changed in iOS 14 when Apple introduced a feature called the app library. Which, don't get me wrong, sounds nice, but only if it wasn't made the Apple way. Because if you thought that this feature will finally provide you more control over your apps, oh boy were you wrong. Even though we have a place for all of our applications, instead of them being on the home screen all the time, Apple exercises full control over them. When you swipe all the way right to the app library, instead of all apps in a grid, you have all your apps sorted into folders. And here is where the problem begins. You are not allowed to change anything about it. Nothing. You'd want to move health group more to the top because you use it more than, let's say, social apps. Nope. You want to put the photos and video folder on the right side instead of left, so you can access it easily with your thumb. You're out of luck. I mean, we are kind of used to it already. Like, Apple has never been known for allowing us to customize our devices more than they want, but the problem is a bit deeper than that. Because one thing is not being able to customize it and have to rely entirely on the iOS to organize things for you, but completely different thing is when the iOS messes it up and is straight up wrong, while you can't do anything about it. There are plenty of cases where people noticed that some apps were literally categorized incorrectly. Like, how are you supposed to find your apps then? For example, my health and fitness folder has the podcast app in it, which isn't a health app. Like, you can listen to health-related podcasts, I guess, but there's no way it's in the same category as the fitness app. Or why don't I have Pinterest in my social media folder? Isn't it a social media app? Or Apple Clips app? It's in the Others folder, but it's literally a creativity app. Or even Photos and Videos folder would be fine for it. A Timetable app is located in the Education folder, but it's not really an educative app. I don't learn anything from it, and it just can't be in the same category as Skillshare, where I literally watch courses and learn. Timetable is purely organization, so I'd say either productivity or utilities. Or Shazam, for example. How is it entertainment? For me, it's a tool. I use it to find out about the music playing around me, not to listen to songs. It's not Apple Music or Spotify. As you can see, I could go on and on. It's the combination of being wrong a lot of times while not letting you do anything about it what makes this feature useless. You can't rely on it when looking for apps, and you can't make it better suited for you by renaming or reorganizing it, so you rather just keep using it altogether. A lot of times, you know an app by its logo and name instead of by the category where it should belong, and if you do know the category, chances are that it'll be placed in the wrong one. The reason why I think it's a problem is because every app in the App Store has a category in which it's placed, and the developers of an app decide where it belongs, so chances are that iOS just goes along with it, and this is what's causing all the mess. It's not only the wrong organization of apps, it's also the confusing visuals. Let me show you what I mean by it. Each folder has 4 spots you can click on. 3 of them are apps that open up right away, and the other one is a button that opens the folder, which is fine, but it visually shows you some of the apps inside it. So you can see for me there's WhatsApp, Telegram, Snapchat, Twitter, so clicking on it I expected the apps to be in the same order or at least next to each other somehow. But no, when I open the folder, the apps are now sorted alphabetically for some reason. So completely different order from what I've seen before clicking. It's even weirder for the recently downloaded apps folder. There again, you have a folder with a preview, but when expanding it, the apps are once again in the alphabetical order. But this folder is different. It's the recently added apps. Wouldn't it make sense to see the apps sorted from the newest one to the oldest? Why the first app on the list isn't the one I downloaded most recently? I don't see why it has to be like this. One good thing about it though is that you can click on the search bar at the top and it shows you a list of all apps sorted alphabetically, so this at least is something you can rely on when quickly searching for an app. Also, why the alphabetical list doesn't have the same toggles as the regular app in the library? You can't remove it or do anything about it. But I still think that it defeats the purpose. When you have to go through so much trouble and uncertainty just to find an app, why don't you just look it up in the Spotlight search? It's much simpler and you don't need any app library for it. So if you want to delete an app, you can't hold down on it in the alphabetical order because the toggles won't pop up. Instead, you need to long press the icon, not the text, to make them appear, which is something you're supposed to figure out somehow. So unless you know this, you have to go through the mess to find it in one of the folders and delete it there. So it's been more than 2 years since Apple has released this feature and pretty much nothing has changed or improved since then. I'm pretty sure that there are some people who like the feature because you don't have to organize stuff yourself, but for me it's just useless. The only thing now is just to hope that Apple brings some changes to it in the future. Hope you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching until the end, and see you guys later in the future uploads.